Hello and welcome. Now, obviously, you can see we're not in the ballpark. This is the live episode, the live intro from Wyatt's bedroom.
Yes. Welcome to my humble abode.
Yes, it's a pleasure to be here.
The Westchester Outpost.
As you can see, there's a lot of people running around that we are planning to interview in this bedroom. But yeah, our live podcast was a real joy.
Yeah, it was. Like, I was really excited going into it.
Yeah.
And, it met and exceeded those expectations. It was such a pleasure to talk to a bunch of different people about baseball, sit people down, get their thoughts, get their opinions. I mean, it's also, you just can't beat a day tailgating at the
That's
ballpark.
what I was going to say. Like, the vibe of just being there tailgating was so fun.
Yeah.
And, it was a lot of fun. It was a hectic day.
Very hectic.
Just like,
especially towards the end.
Yeah, right. When our friends showed up and we were just like, bringing all these people in and keeping track of the gear, and may have had one too many cold ones, but we didn't do too much of there was not really a lot of structure to it, so we kind of felt the need to come in and properly intro this. And
this is going to be a disaster.
Yeah, right. But it was a lot of fun. We put a lot into it, a lot of planning, a lot of post production on my part.
Yeah.
Piecing this all together, but it was a lot of fun that day.
Yeah, I'm just excited to. It's finally cobbled all together for everyone that was there to be able to see it. I think that, it's a lot of anticipation, a lot of hype. So
truly,
we'll see. We'll let you guys can be the judge of whether it's good or not, I guess. But here it is.
Yeah. So we ran around the ballpark, talked to different people, sat down with some people. Sat down with some friends, sat down with some family. But we hope it's a nice digestible, fun little episode for you.
I don't know, switch it up, Now you can see our lovely faces instead of listening to our voices.
Right. There's a whole hair and makeup crew downstairs that prepped us for this. But yeah, enjoy, because we enjoyed doing it. What up? Like the sunny thing.
Yeah.
What up?
I was hitting the Bud Lights heavy.
Pablo Sanchez fucking hit dingers, baby, dingers. So when I got to the funeral, the first person I locked eyes with, Mike fucking Trout.
So I need to have a kid.
Well,
what inspired you to get that jersey?
I stole it.
oh man, shall we set the scene for you? This is a day we've been waiting for a long time.
It has been a long time coming. It's finally here. I couldn't sleep last night, dude.
I know.
It felt like Christmas morning.
It literally, I felt like I was Christmas Eve last night. I was like under my covers, like, oh, tomorrow's the day.
Yeah. The Santa's not coming, but the baseball gods are.
Oh, that's for sure.
They're coming down the Brewers slide.
Yeah.
Not the chimney.
It is a beautiful Saturday afternoon in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
We are in the K-Lot.
K-Lot, what up?
The Eagles Stadium, right next to the Philly Stadium. Mm-hmm. And the vibes are just immaculate.
They are so good. I'm just so excited. I'm just very happy and content right now.
Me too.
It's been a long week of anticipation.
Yeah.
It's finally here.
A lot of planning and prep has gone into this.
Yeah. Hours on the phone.
Hours. A lot of pre-production.
Uh-huh.
And the day is here.
It's here. It's finally here.
It's a doubleheader for our Phillies against the Mets.
Yep.
And we are currently
losing
in
game
the
one.
Game. Game one is happening right now. And we will be just hanging out all day.
Mm-hmm.
Running around, doing our thing.
I would say, come stop by, but this is going to be released.
That's not how this works.
This is going to be released 5 days after we're actually here. So
yeah, maybe longer. It's going to be a beast at this.
if you come down after this is released, we won't be here. So don't do that.
That's true. Don't come down if you're listening to this. But we are here.
But do follow us on socials.
Yes.
At BellyItchersPod on
Yes.
Twitter and Instagram. We're constantly putting out content, constantly putting out episodes. We're here. We're talking baseball week in, week out.
And if you're listening to this episode, check out our YouTube because we're filming everything today.
Yeah.
Everything we're doing today will be released as video.
Uh-huh.
There's going to be a full video episode, or a full video version of this episode, plus video exclusives for the YouTube channel, because today we will have a wealth of content by the end of the day. And there's going to be too much to just cram into one hour-long podcast episode.
I kept referring to some of the people we hope to meet today as creatures.
Yes. Characters.
Yeah, characters. I guess that's a better way to
Creatures
put it.
is a little dark.
It is a little dark, but I don't know. If someone called me a creature, I kind of would take that as a compliment.
Well, let's be honest. Come 7 o'clock, we're going to be shells of humans.
Yeah, we'll be a hermit crab.
Yeah, right. This is weird filming it, having the camera.
Yeah, I know.
I'm more of a behind-the-scenes guy. Yeah, I know.
What do I do?
I am glad that we have this little table here blocking our legs.
Yeah. Oh, nobody wants to see this.
I'm kind of going to be like, I'm like man-spreading.
Yeah.
And like,
Nobody.
Our shorts are pretty short. No one wants to see this.
Yeah.
That's not what they're coming to the YouTube for.
All right, say your name for the podcast.
I'm Joe.
Glad to have you here, Joe. All right, so this man right here, turn around for the camera. He has already copped the Marsh jersey.
Yep. You know how it is. Brandon Marsh. Yeah.
What inspired you to get that jersey?
I stole it.
Oh, there we go, and that the 5-finger discount.
Yep, free 99 discount.
We'll cut that out. We'll cut that out.
Okay, please.
Shh.
Everybody get their free hats today, right? Ain't that right? These guy is.
Supposedly they're children's hats. That's what I was told.
Well, not for me.
They might be children's hats, like we're not children.
Are you heading to the night game tonight?
We're thinking about it. We're gonna see. Depends on the tickets get. We might just send Xfinity.
That's always a noble move. Send Xfinity. You gotta hit the PBR bull riding section too.
Nah, I'll be on that for sure.
Oh, he'll be on that. Can we get video of that later? We'll stitch it in here right now.
I will. I'll stitch it in here just for the viewers.
Go Phillies, but I'm really here to get a good dog and a beer.
I was gonna say, I'm not going to be mentioning any company names here.
This is such a weird thing to say, so cut it out.
As a soccer player, I don't know anything about Philadelphia Phillies, but
why are you here?
The culture of Philadelphia sports is beyond anything else that I've experienced in my life. The absolute wrath that an individual has when they approach the stadium, the oxytocin, adrenaline, and testosterone that runs through one's veins.
I love it.
What's your beverage of choice when you go to the ballpark?
When I go to the ballpark, I do have to say, I was hitting the Bud Lights heavy.
Yeah.
Only because they're the cheapest.
Huh.
And then I got a little crazy, went mango cart because I was feeling a little fancy.
Huh. There you go. See, my strategy is always don't go for the cheapest, but go for the beverage
most
that's with the
alcohol?
alcohol because
Yeah.
you're going to end up shelling out
I know.
$25 anyway.
I know. And my thing is, I always go for the cheapest, but sometimes it doesn't make sense alcohol percentage-wise.
Right. It's
That's how they get
That
you.
is how they get you. That is how they get you.
More bang for your buck if you go for like a 9% beer.
You do actually have to do the math a little bit to get the most
Yeah.
bang for your buck.
and at some point the math becomes impossible.
Yeah.
When you've drinking yourself into a pit.
You've drinking way too many where the math just doesn't even add up.
Yeah.
No matter how much math
it's
you're
like
doing.
that Zach Galifianakis meme. The numbers swirling.
It is just not adding up.
Well, it's important to stay hydrated at the ball game.
Yeah,
whether that
I did get a
is-
water.
There you go.
You're
Responsible.
welcome.
Responsible.
We've got waters here. We've been splitting water and beer. You need to.
That is.
It is like you said.
It's hot as hell.
Hot as balls.
It's hot as balls. I
Yeah.
did say that.
So you said the vibe the rest of the night is just Drinking the pain
Drinking,
away.
yeah, for sure.
Are we going to Xfinity? Are we hanging in the?
We
in
were
the- in the
talking, we
lot?
were having a little bit of discussion about Xfinity. I don't know. And then we started thinking about a little D&B, Dave and Buster's.
Ooh. Go from one game to another.
Yeah.
A lot of games.
I could have my pickings on the game on that one.
So at this point, we've veered far off the baseball track. So what's your favorite Dave and Buster's game?
You know what? I actually haven't been to Dave and Buster's in a whole lot of time, so I don't know.
Just like arcade in general. What's the like?
Skee ball.
Yeah, skee
Yeah,
ball's great.
I mean, I feel like that's like the only one that I would be like, I can
Bang
say.
for your buck.
10 cents.
It's true.
Bang for your buck. I don't know.
It's like a quarter.
We like to crunch the numbers here at Belly Itchers Pod. If you haven't
We're
figured
all
that
about
out.
the math here.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I kind of like being on. I feel like I belong on a podcast.
I think you should be a regular guest. To just come in, bring in, the other side of baseball where it's like, don't really give a shit about the game, but I love tailgating.
Yeah, I do.
I think that's a very important part of the game.
I
I
agree.
would have to say, I would argue 50% at least of the people here don't give a shit about the game.
It's
Someone's
true.
calling me.
And she's getting put him on speaker.
Hey, Sabs, you're on speaker. I'm talking on a podcast. I'm talking on a podcast. I'm like probably 2 rows behind you guys. All right, I'll come to you guys. I'll come to you. All right. All right, I'll come to you. All right, bye. All right, guys.
This has been real, Kat.
This has been real.
We appreciate you hanging out. We're doing.
I feel like I was made for radio.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you guys agree?
I agree. I agree. You're built for this.
I know.
The thing that we need you to talk about is how you cross paths with Mike Trout.
Yes.
Big story.
All right. So here's the story, real quick. I'll try to make it quick. So I work for an engineering firm, a small engineering firm, North Wales. The owner of the company, his name's Gary Munko, recently passed away. Old lad, R.I.P. Good man though, and I might mess this up. I think his granddaughter is married to Mike Trout. So I went to his funeral, and some people had told me that at previous Christmas parties and stuff, Mike Trout had been there. So when I got to the funeral, it kind of popped in the back of my head when I was showing up. I was like, I think Mike Trout might be here, which sounds like an insane but in the back of my head, everybody was sad. I was sad too. It was very sad. But in the back of my head, I was like, I think the greatest baseball player ever might be here. So I'm not gonna say I'm not. Have my eyes out. So I get there.
You're scanning. You're scanning.
I'll scan. I'll be honest. I get there with a couple of my coworkers. It sounds like a made-up story. First person I lock eyes with, Mike Trout. Mike fucking Trout. I walk in the funeral home. He comes out into this hallway, and I'm just I look at him and then look away, and I'm like, fucking Mike Trout. What the fuck is this?
Did you get the sense that when you locked eyes with him that he was I'm Mike Trout?
No, honestly, no. If I had never watched baseball before, I'd have just been that guy's kind of jacked.
Yeah,
that would have been my thought. But I was that is 1,000% Mike Trout. He was in a suit jacket and a not a tie, I think a tie, but
what was his outfit looking like?
just a pretty standard suit, nothing crazy. He looked like a just completely normal guy.
Yeah.
And when I first saw him, I was like, doesn't look that big. And then as the funeral went on and people were giving speeches, I'll be honest, I was eyeing him up. I was looking him up and down because he was in the front shaking hands with everybody who walked by. And I just took a seat because I'm not it was good friends walk up to the front, and me and some of the coworkers just took a seat in the back.
You're right.
But I was just looking him up and down, and at first I was thinking, not that crazy. And then the more I looked at him, I was like, okay, he is 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah, he's huge.
His shoulder blades are looks like they're gonna rip the back of the suit out. And I was like, okay, yeah. That's
Wow.
Mike Trout, and he's fucking ripped. But yeah, I
Wow.
didn't talk to him or anything, but I probably stared at him for about 2.5 hours.
Yeah, he's like, he was driving home and was like, yo, this guy was just eyeing me up the whole time.
You were like, oh, it's over? Like, that was so quick.
Yeah,
just like
but
hypnotized
the
by
thing
Mike
is,
Trout's back.
after the funeral, we went to like a lunch afterwards.
Right.
And I sat, my table was right next to his table, and I was trying not to stare. I did sneak a picture of him, had to. But yeah, he just seemed like a completely regular guy, like in the moment. Like,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people say that about him. I think he owns a lot of property in like Jersey, like Central Jersey.
Yeah, he's a South Jersey guy.
When I was talking to my coworkers, they were like, yeah, he has a huge estate in South Jersey. He goes fishing, just completely regular guy.
Yeah.
But
He
I
likes
was
the
just
weather?
like, fucking Mike Trout.
Wow.
Like, what the hell is going on?
So we got a man here sitting to my right that mourned with
Yes.
Mike Trout.
that mourned with the best baseball player of our generation.
Yeah. And I was trying to explain to some of my coworkers. They're like, yeah,
Yeah.
he's in the pros. I was like,
No,
but he's like
yeah.
the best ever. Like, he's batting. I'm not going to take out the stats at the funeral, but like.
You pull up his baseball reference
Yeah, I'm
page.
like,
yo, he's a career like 40 WAR, dude.
I'm like 3 MVPs, like 2 like 5 Golden Gloves. But yeah, it seemed like a regular guy, spiked hair, just normal looking guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely was
Wow.
like his suit was like struggling to stay on. His back was just like
Yeah.
fucking.
I tell you another game.
So we have a very special guest here, Caroline. Welcome to Belly Itchers.
Thank you. It's so exciting to be here. I feel like I'm on the Ellen show.
Ellen?
Okay.
Isn't that what she does?
Yeah.
Like, the little like she
Okay,
dances
I have to be more
in and, like-
enthusiasm. I'm drinking a hard seltzer and also simultaneously non-alcoholic sparkling water with caffeine.
Okay,
so
but which seltzer is more
If you see
dangerous,
me
the
pull
alcohol one or the one with 100 milligrams of caffeine?
that one, the second,
Yeah.
the latter. If you see me pull the mic away, it's just because, I probably
Yeah.
have to burp. But anyway, it's a beautiful day. Thank God that we're in the shade right now.
It's true.
It's glorious. There's a nice breeze happening right now. And it's just a fun day at the ballpark. Except we're not really at the ballpark. We're outside of the...
Yeah, we're near the ballpark.
We're near it.
It's like when Eric Andre was at the
Yeah.
DNC. I was right there, yeah.
Oh,
The
yeah.
let me in meme is like 100 yards that way, yeah. What does this team need to make the leap to the next level?
I feel like what this team needs is just to start manifesting. Like, do they really want it?
Right.
Do they, like if they, I feel like they have to start being more outwardly spiritual.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talk about, religion in sports in America, but we need some like tarot readings. We need some crystals. We need some psychics in this bitch.
I agree. I think there's way too much. I mean, it's especially rampant in football, but there's way too many Bible thumping like, oh, I'm just here because of God. Like, no, I want the crystals.
Right.
I want the tarot cards. I want the relics.
You never see that. Imagine.
You got to do whatever you got to do to win.
Right.
Whether it's, seeing a sports psychologist, praying to God, having crystals.
Right.
Whatever it is, just win, baby.
Yeah. Right.
You would like this. There was a player on the Phillies a few years ago, Brad Miller, who brought a very illustrious bamboo plant into the locker room.
No way.
And it was like the good luck charm. Like, as soon as he brought this bamboo plant into the locker room, they started playing really well and
Oh my
like
God.
hitting really well. And they called him Bamboo Brad.
Oh my God, that's so funny. I guess things like that, like, I definitely feel like when I played sports, especially running cross country, I would be very superstitious. Like, there'd be things I would do. I'd like always tap my like running cleats like beforehand and stuff. Do you guys know if any other players do stuff like that? I'm sure pitchers have stuff.
I wouldn't say I know like a player's routine specifically, but they're like baseball is like maybe the most superstitious sport out there. Like guys go up there and they do like, they'll draw something in the dirt before they hit and like set up the same way, or like before every pitch they do the same thing. It's all like it's a ritual routine kind of sport.
Yeah.
Which, some people I think take that, they just do what they got to do, and then other people are like crazy about it, and they really believe in that stuff, and it can affect how they play.
Yeah.
Yeah, and baseball, I think there's so much downtime too that you have time to like do these things, and like it's so mental, and there's so much like tension that like guys kind of need to do like little like games to like throw off someone's rhythm. Like people are so into their routine and rhythm of like getting a pitch off, and like the guys will be at the plate like dancing around and like stepping out or calling time into like the Soto shuffle.
Yeah. I feel like that's interesting because you're right, there is so much downtime, and I feel like in something like, any other sport like football, if you, I don't know, push off a bad pass or something, you're like, okay, well, in, a few seconds, I'll have another shot. But then in like baseball, at least for me personally, like if you F up, if you strike out, you're like, oh shit, like, will I get another chance? Like, it didn't work. Will it happen again? But it's definitely interesting.
We'll pick a topic that's like baseball related and talk
then
about it for a while.
delve
like,
into
sometimes
it.
It's like
Okay.
sometimes there's like a lot of research. Sometimes it's just
Sometimes
like
there's not.
shooting the shit. Like we did an episode a couple weeks ago that was where we just like ranked baseball video games.
Really?
Yeah, which was a lot of fun. So stuff like that. That's
Backyard Baseball 2001 has to be.
Yeah, I mean
like,
that was at the top of the list.
It has to be like between 1 and 3. Like, you know what I mean?
We did a tier
Pablo
list.
Sanchez song.
I mean,
like,
come on. Yeah.
Shout out Pablo Sanchez.
Pablo Sanchez.
Pablo Sanchez. Okay, so
dingers, baby.
So
dingers.
So here's another thing about backyard baseball. When we were talking about this, it was very ahead of its time.
Yeah.
It was extremely inclusive. They had like the dude in the wheelchair.
Yeah,
Kenny Kawaguchi.
Kenny Kawaguchi.
Yeah.
What?
Kawaguchi?
Kenny Kawaguchi.
And there's like people of
And
every.
he hit dingers too.
Yeah,
Like,
he's in the wheelchair.
He
up
was
there.
unfazed by the fucking.
He did
wheelchair.
not let his wheelchair
hurt
affect
his
him at
stamina.
all.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, really good. Really good game.
All right, okay. So Backyard Baseball 2001 is like number 1. Okay, understood.
Of course.
What's number 2?
So in
MLB The Show, like 20.
We just took MLB The Show as a whole.
Okay.
And we put that in like the A tier.
Yeah, that's
so
an A
there's
tier.
so
for
like
sure.
it's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
It's good. I love the show.
But
it's
it
a very
doesn't-
straightforward
It doesn't
game.
make you come like Backyard Baseball used to. You know
That's
what I
right.
mean?
That's
like
right.
Fucking when Kenny Kawaguchi hit a fucking homer. Oh, that was the first time I think I've ever gotten a boner.
What? So would you say that playing backyard baseball was a sexual awakening for you?
I've never put it that way privately, but I suppose so, yeah.
This can function as like a therapy session as well.
That's interesting, too.
Because it's like therapy where no one's actually listening to this.
We're just screaming into the void. I love it. No, as being like a not baseball fan who's just here to get like fucked up. You know what I mean?
That's the vibe of everybody here, and I love it.
And I'm from North Jersey, right? So I'm like a New York Giants bleed blue fucking football fan. I don't give a fuck about baseball. You know what I mean? And everyone's like, "Oh, you want to go to the Phillies game?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah!" You know what I mean? Like, you know.
So you're going to the night game, I'm guessing, or were you at the first game?
I was at the first one.
Oh, you were at the first game?
Yeah.
What was the vibe like in there? Pretty
a lot
shitty?
of fucking Mets fans.
I don't like that they're hijacking our stadium.
Hey, tough shit, man. I don't know what to tell you. Coming from an outside observer, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to run into that.
It's true. And also, like, Philly fans at away stadiums are, like, menaces.
Yeah, I am a big New Jersey Devils fan. And when I went to college, I went to Rowan University, which is like 20 minutes outside of the city, right? And going to fucking, what is it? The Link? What is the name of the
for hockey? It's the Wells Fargo Center.
The
it's
Well.
like right over there.
Going to the Well with a New Jersey Devils jersey on is hazardous.
Yeah.
It's like so hostile. Oh my god. And like I get it because like I'm from New York area. You know what I mean? Like I get the hostility, but like god damn, you guys really fucking hold a grudge. Kenny Kawaguchi, baby. Fucking I would for sure. I redact my previous statement.
Do you actually? Okay, wait, hang on. We need to talk about this.
Who is
So
this guy?
I work for the Federal Aviation Administration, and I do research on electric aircraft propulsion. So
Wow.
a la Tesla. So Congress gives me a couple million every year. I build up my lab, and I fill in research gaps in industry where they need to be filled in to make sure that when electric propulsion is ready for public use, it is safe. You know what I mean? So
Are you fucking with me?
no,
That is.
I am not fucking with you.
That's like so intense.
I used to be a vehicle dynamics engineer for BMW, and I got to drift prototype cars around racetracks.
Oh my god.
That was a little more glamorous.
Yeah,
but,
that's a little. Yeah.
I'm very happy with my job now, and I'm glad to further the green initiative.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
we
yeah.
should be
Uh-huh.
the airline industry, besides the Department of Defense, is the #2 polluter.
That
for
doesn't
our
surprise me.
airwaves
I mean-
in the world. You know what I mean? And I hope to make electric airline safe. That's
Wow.
my.
That's
my
a hell
MO.
of a goal.
Yeah, right. And
That's good work.
Congress gives me a couple million, and I make my labs and run tests and stuff like that. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, nice to meet you. My friends
Dude,
are looking for
I
me.
mean, I appreciate it, man. So we're here with Dan in the parking lot, Mets fan. What do you think of the Mets this year? What are your thoughts on this team?
So to be honest with you, they're playing a lot better than I expected. I wish they would have done more at the trade deadline. I was hoping they would have brought in some middle relief. They were looking at Robertson a lot from the Cubs, and they never really did that. But so far, so good. But I mean, now injuries are starting to catch up to them, and that's what always happens with the Mets. I mean, now you got Carrasco's out for 3 weeks. You got Walker. They just scratched another start on Sunday. So we'll see. I mean, I'm hoping they can at least stay alive, but the Braves never seem to lose. So we got to hope they fall off a little bit.
Yeah, that's the same thing that we try to hope for.
Right.
It's like this is the first year that we, that the Phillies are like really looking promising to getting to the playoffs.
Right.
But
I mean, their lineup's loaded.
Yeah.
I mean, at least like 1 through 7, they're loaded. They got Castellanos and Schwarber, and it just seems like they get every guy the Mets don't want.
do you come to Philly, like when the Mets are playing in Philly much, or like?
Doing like a work thing today. I really try not to come to Philly if I can, because the fans tend to beat you up a little bit. But overall, I mean, it's not bad. It's easy to get to because it's right out the highway. So it's definitely one of the coolest sports venues around. And you got Xfinity Live, which you can't beat.
So we are here with Joe in the K lot at Citizens Bank Park. Joe, you told us off air that you were not a big baseball fan. What do you got to say to the people out there?
There are two things I have to say. The first thing is that I'm not necessarily against baseball. I'm against corporate sponsorships, which is what Major League Baseball is 24/7. If Major League Baseball were minor league, then it'd be a different story. It'd be more about the game. Today, it is more about the sponsorships. Second thing, as a homosexual, baseball has a whole different conversation. Are you a pitcher or are you a catcher? I'm both.
And there you have it. I won't comment on the second item, but the first item is, I think you make a very good point there. You know, baseball is definitely rooted in, you know, amateurism, sort of playing for the love of the game, and that's changed over the last 40 years.
Absolutely. I mean, look at Citizens Bank Park for instance. Now, I come from northern New Jersey, so I do come from a family of Mets fans, actually, which I never let my friends live down. However,
as you shouldn't, you got to give them some shit.
You gotta give your team that credit. But nonetheless, Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia, that is a pretty legendary park. It did give the model of what the modern baseball park is, if I'm remembering correctly. But the fact that you could go from Veterans Stadium to Citizens Bank, that's kind of unexcusable.
Yeah. At least Veterans Stadium was honoring the veterans, but I guess in southeastern Pennsylvania, cash is king. So do you have a specific memory of was the 1980 World Series? Is that a big memory for you?
That is a big memory for me. We were watching that in my living room. Everybody's over at my house. Tug of a girl wins that. We run outside.
Oh yes.
Booping the horns and all. And my buddy Alfred's mom drives down the street and says, "Come on, we're going." Get in the car, and we're just driving around honking horns.
Yes. That's the post-win celebrations are always amazing to hear about.
Phenomenal. We didn't know to go, plus I was 6th grade, I think.
Yeah,
so we didn't go down to, where is it, Frankfurt or Franklin or that 5 Points.
Yeah.
I don't know if we would have been allowed to go there anyway, but driving around, honking, and everybody was out doing it. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, I have a very similar memory from the 2008 World Series. I was 10 at the time. It's like those guys were larger than life.
Yeah.
Me and my dad driving around honking and stuff. What's your ideal day at the ballpark? What does that look like?
I'm partial to either the corners in the outfield. I'm a sucker for a home run. I want to catch one. I want to see some hit to my section. I have my beer in my hand, and the right hand's going up to catch something. That's what I'm about. I want to get a home run ball.
Like, what were we last time, 142?
142.
That was a great section.
We got there a little late, walked into a Schwarber home run. It was, I would say, 3 rows over from us. Almost had it.
Yeah,
exactly.
it was
if I
great.
was any taller, I may have had a chance.
Yeah, should have brought my glove. Hot take, kind of. My family classic was every Phillies game, we'd bring Wawa hoagies.
Yeah.
And eat them at the game.
Yep.
Like, I don't know, 3rd inning.
Well, that's cost effective. That's like the long game.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's another option. Bringing a Wawa Italian hoagie, bag of chips, and
Paul's got one. Paul's got an Italian hoagie right here.
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong.
I think I saw it in the cool.
You've been extremely high on the Phillies all season, and they've really come into their own basically ever since they fired Girardi. So, what do you see this team's ceiling as? Where do you think that they? Yeah. How do you think they will do the rest of the season?
Good question.
It's late August. It's
getting down there.
It's getting down to it.
Predicting about a 90 win season. Win season.
I vividly we had a conversation maybe
before the season or
no, it was I want to say it was in May or early June where we discussed this exact thing, ceiling, what's around, and I want to say I think I gave you an 88 to 80 range,
and I gave you an 88 to 95 range.
Yes, and right now you're looking pretty good. I think they're gonna hit 90.
At least the high end of yours and the low end of mine is gonna be somewhere there. I would love to see him hit 90.
Oh, 90 I think would secure a playoff berth.
Yes, 100%. And if it fucking doesn't, still a great season from the boys. We have Castellanos for 4 years, Schwarber for 5.
Yep.
Right, Bryce for
this is
the
the
next
window.
3 decades.
This is the window. I mean, seriously.
So I brought a question.
Okay. This is an open forum.
Do you think Nola and Wheeler?
Yes.
We can agree. Borderline All-Stars, right?
Yes.
1-2 borderline All-Stars this year.
Yep.
Could have gone a bunch of ways. A whole bunch of good pitchers in the NL. Okay. Do you think Wheeler and Nola have a championship gene in them? Do they have that clutch gene in them?
I don't know. I'm gonna say I'm going to say neither of them do.
I feel like Wheeler more than Nola does. Wheeler, when
yeah.
he steps up, he's more like locked in and like,
Yep. Yeah.
I'm on the mound. Like, and he has like a little more, like,
Calm confidence.
Right. Yeah. I feel a little more like intimidated by Wheeler's presence than I do Nola's.
Yeah.
And that might just be because I know Nola has a little bit of a, he gives up like a lot of home runs. He has some like collapse issues, but I think they'll need to while their rotation's really solid, but I think they still need those like lights out guys, like those guys that you can really count on no matter what.
That being
That's what
said,
separates the team in the playoffs. Is like dominant pitching.
Like going into 08, Cole Hamels, like obviously he was our ace, and then he just absolutely went off in the playoffs.
But he wasn't even the ace at that point. He was like middle of the rotation. He was like 23.
He was 20. He was like 23. Sidetrack. But what was Bumgarner? Bumgarner was like 21 in like one of the first playoff appearances, and he's like the best playoff pitcher in recent memory. Anyways.
Yeah, but 2008 Phillies were like team of destiny. Like they just everything clicked at the right time. Like they had a really good roster, but like when you stack it up with the rest of their playoff teams the next like 5 years, that was the worst roster.
You're right. Our rotation in particular.
Yeah, right.
You look at the future.
They just had like the best relief season ever from Lidge and like guys that were all playing really well.
Blanton stepped up, right?
Yeah.
Fucking Homer.
Brett Myers.
Yeah,
like
Brett
just
Myers,
random
classic,
dudes.
Random, Madison.
But that is kind of what you need though to make a deep playoff run. Is just like key moments from sort of like not your star. Like obviously your stars have to come up big. So like a Wheeler Nola 1-2. That's really good for a series. Like we could squeak a series win in there. But then it becomes like who else is going to step up? Is Ranger going to pitch that third game and shut them down? Like
and Ranger showed it.
Ranger
has something.
I think Ranger might be a future 2 in a rotation. He's a guy where every year he comes out and he looks better and better. I'm a big Ranger Suarez fan.
Agreed. Can I say something real quick to what you were alluding to?
Yeah.
So, yep, 100%. So, obviously,
your parting remarks.
You need your big guys to step up. You need your Harpers, Segura to be hitting right around 300, right? You need your Baum, JT, Castellanos hitting right below the mark, right below 300. You need your Schwarber hitting bombs. We need our big guys stepping up to the plate for sure.
Right.
But this Phillies team has shown that heart, that depth, the good team culture, the locker room chemistry.
Yeah.
Right? In the guys stepping up. In the Stubbs, Sosa, right? We've seen that a lot this season. So from that perspective, I think we have something brewing in the clubhouse.
All right. We are live here at Citizens Bank Park with my father, Mr. Rod Whitney. How are we doing today?
We're doing good. It's a sunny day. It's hot, but we're in the shade, so that's good.
The shade's been a topic that's come up pretty consistently. So shout out to, I guess, I don't know, the Eagles, whoever built this
Jeffrey
parking
Lurie.
lot. Yeah.
And his green initiative, and I think these shades have solar panels on the top. And
all right, enough about the Eagles.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jeff. What was some of the earliest memories you have of the Phillies?
Well, I felt like as a kid we went to the Phillies a lot. It was a popular like school. Everybody get on a bus, go down to the Phillies game. I think the 700 level seats at the Vet were cheap. I think that I can't remember offhand, but I think they were like dirt cheap, and so you could just go up in that 700 level. So I just remember with going down with the Cub Scouts or with a school thing, or mostly as a part of a group, we would go down to a Phillies game, and it's funny. I don't remember the games individually so much as I remember like doing laps around the vet. Like I remember the venue more than the team, because I was little. You know.
The vet was a real The vet, I feel like, has a different vibe overall as the Citizens Bank Park did. The vet is like a storied venue for maybe not what happened on the field, but what's happening all around.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously there's the 700 level has its own mythology around what happens there. You know, what happens in the 700 level stays there, but definitely in terms of like, it was so huge that you could get a cheap seat. So it really was a place where like everyone could go to the ballpark because they had a lot of seats to fill, and they couldn't put a premium on every seat. So it was nice in that regard that it brought a lot of people of every class together for sure.
Baseball is also nice that way, where you know the tickets are usually cheaper than a lot of the other sports.
Yeah, there's a lot of games,
right?
You know,
so tell us about 1980. What was that like?
Wow,
what were you, 10 years old?
I was 10. Yeah, and
so Paul, for a minute. So the Phillies won the World Series when he was 10. They won when I was 10. So I need to have a kid.
Well, yeah, and quick, unless you want to wait for 30 years. Yeah. Well, so you know, I don't remember going to any games, to be honest with you, but I do remember, you know, all the hype around them being in the World Series. And I definitely remember they played the Royals, and so George Brett was a big. He was the star, you know, and he was the villain in Philly, for sure. And I think who do they play? Did they get past the Astros? No, the Astros.
That was 93.
That was 93. So I don't even know who they played in the.
I wasn't even alive.
I don't know who they played in the before the World Series.
Who cares? They lost.
But it's true. But yeah, what a great series. And I remember watching on TV that final out, Tug McGraw, that classic jumping up in the air.
Yeah.
And I got to meet Tug McGraw.
Oh, all right.
You gotta tell that story. Yeah, I got to meet Tugger McGraw about 10 years later. I was working for Prudential Insurance Company, and they had some luncheon. And I don't know if the luncheon was like where they just people got picked at random, but I wound up at this special luncheon that they had, and Tug McGraw was the keynote speaker.
Wow.
And he sat at our table, right next to me, at our table in this big, like cafeteria type area. It was more than a cafeteria. It was a really nice cafeteria, but at this Prudential, at their Eastern home office. This was probably like 1989. And so we sat right next to each other. It was pretty amazing. I got his autograph, and he talked. We talked very little about baseball, actually. He talked more about his family and his kids, which really was really something that I remember. That how disinterested he was in talking about. He was like, yeah, the World Series, great, but he was more interested in talking about his kids, which was really cool.
I feel like that he probably really appreciated like having a real conversation with somebody that was not just like about baseball, you know?
Yeah, well, you know, I was only.
That's why we're here today.
I was probably 19 or 20 at the time, and although I love sports and I love Philly sports, I'm not like a deep diver into stats and things like that. I tend to be a homer, and I'm an optimist, and so. I don't get too heartbroken. I mean, well, that's not true. I get heartbroken when they lose, but I'm not like.
I was gonna say, what are you talking about?
That's true. Yeah, you would know. But I'm not following like every pitch, every game. I kind of, anyway. So I wasn't, and also I was only 10 when they won the World Series, so there was only so many questions I could ask them about that. But it was, he really struck me as just a really nice, genuine guy. And after that meeting with him, he became like my favorite Philly from that era. And you think about Schmitty and Carl, Carl and Schmidt. Like Schmidt had a reputation for being a total asshole, like just a total jerk. And so Tug McGraw became my favorite just because I was like, that dude's real.
What's your ideal day at the ballpark?
I love the atmosphere. Regardless of what's going on, I mean, I like watching the play, and of course, a big play and a good defensive play, and they're all great. But just sitting there, I definitely like night games more than day games. Because it's more comfortable generally, it's cooler. But
midsummer day game is not really the ideal place to be.
but if it's like just the sounds of vendors and Philly fans, like there's nothing like a good
ice cold Bud Light.
Yeah, and there's nothing like that prototypical obnoxious Philly fan, like yelling something that annoying like sing-song chant of an opposing player's name. In hopes of just getting under their skin.
One of the most memorable instance of that is a game where I think it was Gregor Blanco, really random deep pool player, but I think he was on the Braves, and there was a guy in my section. We were right at third base where he was playing, and the whole game he just kept going, "Hey, Blanco, you stanko!" the entire game, like nonstop. And the Phillies were getting killed, and everyone in our section was just like cracking up every time because this guy would not let up.
And that's what's great. It's like anywhere else in any other area of your life that would annoy you and drive you crazy, but at the ballpark, it's entertainment.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
It's entertaining, and I think that's. I don't know if that's unique to Philly. I want to feel like it is, but it just seems like that annoying guy who thinks he's come up with the most brilliant taunt and won't stop and won't let it go and just taunts all game long. There's this arc of like, oh, that's funny, that's annoying. And then it goes into this is awesome, and then you don't want them to stop.
Well, especially when the Phillies are getting killed, it's like, all right, at least we can count on this guy to keep up the spirits, and just it does become like an entertainment off the field.
Who is your favorite? Like 2000s baseball player?
Do I have to go Phillies or
No. Because I wouldn't answer Phillies.
Yeah. I feel like I'd be lying if I said that David Ortiz wasn't sprinkled in there.
Oh, yeah.
Big Papi.
Yeah. Big Papi's a great choice.
I'm trying to think of like someone that I used all the time on like MVP Baseball 07. I don't know why this name just popped in my head, but Troy Glaus was pretty cool.
Troy Glaus. Great call.
The 03 Anaheim
2002
Mets.
World Series MVP.
Yeah. People forget. You all know who else just popped in my head when we were talking about just random World Series guys? Jeff Jenkins.
Oh,
Jeff Jenkins, dude. Me and Paul were having a conversation the other day about like if you had to get a jersey from every MLB team, where would you go? I put down Brewers, Jeff Jenkins.
I mean, there's just nothing like, because I mean, obviously as a child in my 2000s, I'm not watching Brewers MLB games on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night, but like.
They're not on NBC Sports Philly?
I mean, I wish I could say it was, but then you see him through video games. You do a fancy draft after school one day. You draft Jen Jenkins in the 9th round, but like, then he joins the Phillies, and you're like, this is the sickest role play I've ever seen in my entire life. And then this guy hits a double that you think is going to be a home run bomb to win a World Series. Cole Hamels should have got the wins record in the World Series, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, that's for another episode.
But
well, no, actually. Let's talk about that right now.
All right. Ryan Madsen.
that series is, particularly, the whole like ran out like half game kind of thing was like, has that happened before? Like I haven't looked into that.
I don't know if like Bud Selig was just like, I have to get this in on a Tuesday night because by Thursday I have to like do something else corrupt. But God knows what the deal with that was. I mean,
we have another scandal to sweep under the rug.
Like you have like Hurricane Katrina going on in the middle of October, and then
They made those like hats with the ear flaps because it was
J-Roll
so
wearing
cold.
the ear flapped hat.
It was so cold.
J-Roll and Jason Bruntlett just like rocking the ear flapped hats.
So we were talking what, mid 2000s baseball players?
Yeah.
What are a couple names that pop in your head when we, let's do some word association.
First name when you think of 2000s baseball, go.
And this is kind of relevant to today's matchup, Phillies Mets that we're seeing. But those days, those were some great Phillies Mets division battles. We remember those Marlins teams weren't the greatest. Those national teams were kind of not relevant at that point.
What does the name Jose Reyes mean to you?
I was going to say Jose Reyes, Carlos Delgado. Was that his name?
Yeah.
Carlos
Delgado,
Beltran. Carlos Beltran. Those were some
K-Rod.
good teams. Francisco Rodriguez, the closer. K-Rod versus Lidge was always like a good time. You went into down the stretch of August, September. We had always 3 or 4 series down the stretch of the season. And then, as we all know, I want to say 06 and 07, it came down to the last game of the season in both scenarios, and we scrapped it out. I believe it was So Taguchi that scored the winning run. That Chase Utley had their RBI, but So Taguchi scored the run, I believe. Either him or Tadahito Iguchi. I can't remember between the two.
I feel it's just the all-time, Japanese
all-time,
representation.
all-time Asian utility men on the Phillies baseball teams. But
those guys, they come and go, and they're they're forever in the pantheon of Phillies. Yeah, the utility Japanese guy. Yeah, wow, that was
you pulled So Taguchi out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Smart baseball.
Yeah.
So this year,
you got tasered.
This year,
you want to hop on the pod? Oh, I heard this guy can.
All right, we're gonna watch this.
I'm gonna narrate this right now. We're being interrupted by a shotgun race with this random man who has an incredible shirt, by the way.
I mean, if he doesn't shotgun this beer in
Here we
under
go.
2 seconds, it's
gonna be so quick. It's
no.
Yeah. We're rolling. Yeah.
This will be on MySpace.
All
This will
right,
be on MySpace.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. Watch. Catro is going to get destroyed.
Oh my God, the guy's a fucking alpha.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Just another day at the game.
And they say we're a piece of shit city.
Oh, we have some parting words from Bihu.
Yeah, I will say, and just a little bit related to, as we were just saying with the Little League World Series, love of the game, and I feel like that kind of message is kind of is paralleled here in this podcast. I appreciate that Wyatt and Paul have just a love of baseball. There's a pure appreciation of the game, and it's kind of like we were saying, you're not doing it for any glory, you're not doing it for any fame, you're doing it for the love of baseball, and I appreciate that. There's not love for baseball like there is the other sports in America right now. Football and basketball are so big, but we got to get back to baseball. And competitive Phillies is helping us all out. I can tell you that much. I won't speak for everybody, but that for myself, it's got me back in baseball.
Whoever really wants to be a guest again. All right, good night, guys.
Let's go now! Swing, brother!